and the lady hands me a pack of 5 long-acting insulin pens and says, these need to stay cold. And it wasn't until that very moment that I really was hit by like what this change in lifestyle could mean. Hey, I'm Justin and welcome to Diabet Tech. I talk all things diabetes and diabetes technology to help you manage your diabetes even better than yesterday. I just came up with that tagline. Is it good? Should I use it? Today, I want to talk about my origin story, my type 1 diabetes diagnosis, which only happened 2 years ago at the age of 30. I was diagnosed thanks to TikTok, the social app. The community on TikTok literally found me and got me the diagnosis I needed in order to be a healthier human being and manage my diabetes. What you would call the form of diabetes that I have would be LADA, latent autoimmune disease in adults. And it's actually a lot less rare than you'd think. We all grew up, many of us, thinking type 1 diabetes was juvenile diabetes, where most people with this form of diabetes were diagnosed at a younger age. Well, it is becoming more and more prevalent that people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even their 70s are getting diagnosed with type 1, often because they were misdiagnosed with type 2 for a very long time. That's also part of my story. So let's get into it. Oh, and one more thing. I've got videos coming out every Friday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell if you want to get alerts when they come out, and give this video a like if you enjoy it. All right, let's get into it. So, 30 years old, and I had noticed that I wasn't feeling so well every once in a while. I felt kind of feverish in the evenings. And I also, for a very long time, for maybe 5 years, was peeing pretty often, more often than normal. And now, these were just things going on that I didn't really put them together until kind of later on when I started noticing more symptoms, which were extreme thirst. I lost 20 pounds. And this was during COVID at a time where I was kind of eating a lot of junk food, and I didn't realize I was losing weight because I was eating kind of unhealthy. So I just assumed that I was gaining weight, truly. And it wasn't until friends told me, hey, Justin, you look super skinny. And I'd be like, oh, thank you, I know. And they'd be like, no, Justin, you look like unhealthy skinny. And it wasn't until I had that 2 times told to me that I finally weighed myself at a friend's, because I don't even own a scale. So there was really like no way of me even knowing. I weighed myself at a friend's and I was like 155 pounds. And I'm normally 175 to even 180. That was a shocker. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, something is wrong with me. So I Googled and I put all the symptoms in, and I did see that these symptoms were possible forms of signs of diabetes. Granted, in the past, I had doctors tell me, hey, Justin, your blood sugar is a little elevated, but I kind of just was in denial of that for at least 6 months. So I finally, long overdue, saw a doctor. I get my blood tested again, A1C, and my A1C was 12.1. For those of you who don't know, that is very, very high. You want it to be below 5.7 or 5.7 and below. Very high. And so my doctor says, you have diabetes. I'm putting you on metformin. And I also had high cholesterol, so he's putting me on statins. So I get given this medication and he's just like, okay, goodbye. And I felt so alone and lost in that moment because all I was told was, you have diabetes, didn't even tell me what type, how it works, what it does to your body, how to treat it, other than with this medication. And I go into like the reception area and I speak to the receptionist, and this was a guy I always had like a rapport with. He was a really nice guy, and I was kind of freaking out to him, and he like was there for me in that moment. I believe his name was Eric, and I hope you're somehow watching this, Eric. And you played such a great role in that moment for like making me feel comfortable and safe. So thank you. He printed out a bunch of things that he like searched online while he was with me and gave me some pointers. To him, he assumed I had type 2 diabetes as well, because that's what the doctor said. I start taking both the medications and not feeling well. So I finally decide like, okay, I'm gonna go see another doctor. So I see another doctor and he tells me, he's like, first, let's start having you test your blood sugar. And then let's also increase the metformin. I increase the metformin, I start testing my blood sugar, and I also start posting videos on TikTok. I go to another appointment with him. I'm still not better. Friends are telling me I still look skinny. And he tells me you should start taking long-acting insulin. And that freaked me out. I was like, you want me to take insulin? Like, what? And I remember that day of getting the insulin so well because it was one of the most nerve-wracking days of my life. I went to Walgreens to go pick up a prescription, and Walgreens said, oh, we don't have a contract with your insurance. And I was just like, what? Like, why do you accept my prescription? Why do you have me come all the way here? And now you're telling me you don't have a contract with insurance? Like, what the heck does that even mean? And I like start kind of like honestly like crying a little bit because or just like getting really like emotional. And they like give me like these like pen caps, like these needle caps for the actual pens, but they aren't able to give me like the insulin. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And so I call a CVS nearby. They say they take my insurance, and Walgreens sends them the prescription. I go to CVS, and the lady hands me a pack of 5 long-acting insulin pens and says, these need to stay cold. And it wasn't until that very moment that I really was hit by like what this change in lifestyle could mean. I get in my car, I start driving home, and I just start thinking about, well, if I need insulin every day and these need to stay cold, how am I going to go on a road trip with my friends? How am I going to travel? And I cried the entire ride home. I was living with my friend at the time. Back to his place, I cried the entire way and felt so alone, and I just didn't know what was going to happen next. And it was one of the scariest moments of my life. And so I get back to my friend's place and I show him what I need to do. And he's like, do you want me to do it for you? And I say, no, I need to do this. But he's there with me, like just to like help me. And actually another one of our friends happened to be visiting. So we're all together, and I put the pen cap on. I put in the units that he said to do, and I could not bring myself to giving myself that shot. It took me minutes to really build up the courage to do it. But I did it. I finally got it. And I started doing that every day. This would start an entire stretch of time of just lows. And I didn't know what was happening to me. I'd just wake up in the middle of the night starving. And my doctor did say, like, if you start having like these low blood sugar moments, just eat. Like, this was like not good guidance. It was like, take this long-acting insulin, eat food if you go low, test your blood sugar. That's the regimen I was on. So I started posting these videos on TikTok.
Good morning from a newly diagnosed diabetic. Here's my morning routine.
Showing people what I was doing. And I had never expected the amount of people to find my videos, comment, and give me so much guidance. This community was incredible and got me the help I wound up needing. They were like, get an endocrinologist, get a CGM. What was a CGM? Get an insulin pump. A pump? How does this work? But it was incredible, the reception and all these people guiding me. And it's possible that you're even one of those people watching now, and you've seen me grow, how much I've grown in the last 2 years in knowledge. And it was so inspiring. And I finally got an endocrinologist. The endo was like, we're gonna run a C-peptide test. We run the test. I have type 1 diabetes, or type 1.5, LADA, treated as type 1. She prescribes me short-acting insulin, and I start having that before meals. She connected me with an incredible diabetes educator, Mary Rose, who will probably make an appearance on here at some point. And she really got me to understand diabetes and management and food intake and carb counting. And she told me it takes 1 year at least to fully understand how to manage diabetes. And I feel like that's completely true. It took a full year to like really get a lot of it down. I'm still getting things down. I'm still learning every day. This whole experience of Mary Rose diabetes educating me and TikTok truly inspired me to do what I do today, which is make videos on Instagram and TikTok and like this on YouTube to educate other people, because a lot of this information is pretty inaccessible. And if we use the power of social media, we can get it faster. We can save lives. If you're watching and you were recently diagnosed, you are a warrior. We are all warriors. You will get it. It will take time. You will cry. You will be upset, but you will get it. And there's so much support out there, including myself, all these other people on social media that understand you and will interact with you and answer your questions. So please use all those resources. So that's my story. It's obviously still ongoing. I'm on TikTok and Instagram making all these like educational videos and just experiential videos. And now I have this YouTube channel that I truly want to educate people with. I'm also gonna be starting a podcast, which I'm very excited to bring people on and interview them. So stay tuned for that. I've got the mic set up. I hope you continue to watch all of my videos and my content, and please comment with any questions or advice you have for other people with diabetes that may be finding this diagnosis story for the first time. I want to hear your stories. Let me know in the comments kind of like a little bit about your diagnosis story, and definitely subscribe to this channel. Click that bell if you want to get alerts for more videos like this. I'm Justin, and I'll talk to you later.